know what we're getting into here!
Okay, here's a look at TransArt Wing Wolf Combatant BWM 12, which I think stands for Beast Wars Masterpiece, I think, which is their version of a Masterpiece scaled Beast Wars Silverbolt. So first, let's go over everything that you get. First, you don't get any instructions, but you do get this warning sheet with some QR codes that you could scan to a video. That's not really instructions, just kind of like someone transforming the figure with no dialogue for instructions. And I think a QR to the website for their other figures and stuff. But more importantly, this is a warning sheet. So here you could see his crotch is easily damaged. And I'll just let you know that's because of the tab is thin and the type of plastic that they're using. It's, what I described is kind of like the aluminum foil. It easily bends and you can easily rip and tear it. So it's the type of plastic, it's prone to breakage on thin parts like the tabs. And here, not sure, but I think this has something to do with that articulating wing piece. So you just need to make sure you have the clearance for it. And here, this sword missile thing, caution, I'm not sure exactly what that is. I don't seem to have an issue on mine. So instead of instructions, you get this. And we get my favorite, the bio card. So here you could see the same nice artwork on the front of the package. And the back, you get your tech spec. So these are always cool. And it's done in the nice plastic, the credit card shape. And then we get the figure and his accessory here, his wing sword. We get two of them. This one he does hold for his sword, and the other one you can attach it back here. And I'm glad that happened because I could point out the one issue. His knee joint, it's a double hinge, so there is a screw on the top and the bottom, and the top one is loose and the bottom one's tight. And unfortunately, I tried, using the X-Transbots Phillips screwdriver to tighten it. It's already tight. So yeah, this might just be my copy, but I actually don't think so. So I'm just letting you know that top screw on the double joint is loose, and that does affect the stability and manipulating this for articulation and transformation and stuff. So just thought I'd point that out. So let me just share a few things as I give you a tour of this nicely sculpted figure with the nice silver paint finish. So first of all, I'm not really into collecting the Beast Wars stuff. I am trying to finish my Masterpiece Beast Wars for season 1 and 2. Not really season 3 Transmetal and all that stuff. But I got this because Silverbolt from Beast Wars is actually my favorite character. And when I saw this with the nice silver finish and all that, I just had to get it. So that's why I have this here. And I gotta let you know, I had to do my research on this because this is the first TransArt figure I'm getting. And here's already a warning. The fact that there's all these warning and caution with this figure, looking through some of their other figures, they have the same issue. They have little issues here and there, such as their Transmetal Black Arachnia, which I'm tempted to get. Should not have these issues like her spider legs on a ball joint. They're cracking and breaking. Speaking to what I'm pointing out, the type of plastic that they're using is like the aluminum foil. It easily rips and tears. And then some of their other figures have issues as well. So I just need to point that out because, you know, those are some concerns with this figure that you need to be aware of. So yeah, just wanted to point those things out. So now let's zoom up and take a closer look at the figure, starting off with his head. So first of all, look at this. This is a really nicely sculpted head with all the hairy details sculpted in. The eyes look nice. And what's cool is his mouth does open. And you could see they have some nicely sculpted in details for the teeth that are nicely painted. And his head can rotate side to side. It can go down, but it unfortunately cannot go up. And I'm just pointing out, yeah, they should have probably cut out the back a little bit so it can go up, because, you know, nobody really looks at the back, and that just affects the articulation with the head going up. And the head going up would have helped to be able to get some room to be able to open his mouth. But yeah, that's the head. It's nicely sculpted. And then moving down here to his chest and shoulders, I'm just going to point out all the issues throughout. So first of all, his arms are on a soft ratchet so they can go forward and back. And then they do go out to the side on friction, but it's tight. And because of the type of plastic, you want to use caution when manipulating it. And I'm just letting you know, don't leverage it from down here because it's so tight. You have to apply some force. Make sure you grab close to it, because when you see, even as I'm moving this, you could see it's bending the plastic. So that's not good. So you just want to use caution when manipulating it. And then, let's see, let's bring his arm up. And you could see he does have a bicep swivel on friction. And I don't know if you could see, but it is a double jointed elbow, you know, mostly for the transformation. But because of that, you can get more than 90 degrees bend on his arm. And I'm glad this is happening because you see when you're manipulating it, like trying to articulate the arm, tolerance issues with this. So the tabs here, they don't stay tab in here. And you know, when you're trying to manipulate this, like lifting up his arm, see how it easily comes untabbed? So yeah, there are some issues there. But like I always say, if you know it, you're aware of it, and you know how to manipulate it, like being careful, grab close to the joints, you know, you just work around the issues. But it shouldn't be like that. There's tolerance issues. And then his hand, you could see it's a nicely sculpted hand with the wrist rotation going out. It can rotate down the prone position and stuff. And the fingers can open up. And you only get one articulation with the index finger. So I guess you can kind of get some poses like that, like pointing. But the bottom three fingers are grouped together. So yeah, just limited finger articulation, but this is still good enough. And then if we carefully spread his arms out on that tight friction, get some room, and his elbows, biceps, rotate them out. We can see his waist here has that nice metallic red detail. It's tune accurate, looks really nice. And if you lift up his hip skirts, you can see there is some waist rotation, but most important thing to point out here, this is limited rotation. So once it turns and you hit a stopping point, that's it. That's all it goes. Don't try to force it more, or you are going to break this, especially with the type of plastic. So there's basically limited waist rotation, but it's nice you get a little bit. And there is no ab crunch, unfortunately. And then let's keep that up, and we can see his legs here. You do get a nice ratchet going forward and back. And you also get a nice soft ratchet going out to the side. That's cool. And then you do get thigh rotation, but again, tolerance issues. This is really tight. And you see the way I'm manipulating this? I'm grabbing close to the joint because, you know, if you're leveraging it in other areas, you're causing stress on the other parts, which is, you know, you're causing risk for breakage because of the type of plastic. And since we're down here, let's take a look at that crotch, because this is the issue. So I'll just point it out. So here I'm getting a good grip on this because I have to apply some force to separate this. And you have to do this very carefully. See how I did that? Because if you don't, you're going to break that tab. And then you're basically screwed after that. So yeah, that's that caution that they give you. And again, that's not really the engineering, it's the quality of the plastic. If it was better plastic, that wouldn't be an issue. But yeah, just pointing that out. And then as we continue down to his legs, he does have a double jointed knee. And here's one issue. You could see there's two screws, the top and the bottom. The top one is loose, the bottom one is tight. So when you're trying to manipulate this, it's a little frustrating because you're fighting with the tight hinge on the bottom, and the loose one on the top is just flopping around. And unfortunately, I used the Phillips screwdriver from TransArt to tighten it. This is already tight as far as it can go, so that just might be my copy, but I'm telling you, I really don't think so. So just pointing out, you're going to have some issues manipulating this because of the tolerance. It's loose on the top and tight on the bottom. But you do get a double jointed knee bend, and then you do get ankle rocker, which is cool on friction. And then his claws are also on friction, but it's really tight. I don't want to do it because it's going to mess up his stance. But yeah, it's a little frustrating because you have to adjust these, the front and the back, with the tight tolerance just to get his feet to be securely planted to the floor. So yeah, there's I'm just pointing out everything, and see, as a result of the top screws on the double jointed knee, he easily falls back, and unfortunately can't really tighten those screws. So yeah, there's just issues that you just have to be aware of. And you see, I'm already encountering the problems that I told you. Just trying to articulate this is difficult because you're fighting with the tight joints in some areas and the loose joints in the others, which makes this really frustrating. So I'm trying to get him in a good pose and just give you an example. See this one too. Let's zoom out so you could see. You can't just leverage it here. You have to come close here, because I already pointed out when you're trying to bend his arm down, you're actually bending this plastic, which is prone to breakage. So you have to get close to that joint just to articulate this. And then there is a slight waist rotation. The head can rotate. So yeah, you can get some nice poses here. So yeah, like I said, as long as you're aware of everything I'm pointing out and you know how to manipulate this and you're being very careful, you know, you could work around the issues. It's just unfortunate. The there's just a lot of tolerance issues here with this. But yeah, that's a look at Silverbolt in his robot mode.
I think you're carrying a graviton generator, Maximal. Hand it over, or else.
Okay, there is a cool feature that comes with this figure, and it's up here in the chest, and I think it's called that graviton generator or something. Unfortunately, it's not easy to get to because you could see the chest piece doesn't open very easily. That's because this double hinge here, it's pushed up. So you need to actually bring this double hinge down to have the clearance for this chest piece to open up. And in order to do that, you need to separate his two sides here, which is done by separating this caution crotch area. So first, let's just spread his legs out at an A stance, get a good grip, and just carefully untab that. And I just have to make that clear. Those tabs there are prone to breakage if you're just being too rough. It's not as simple as just open it up. Yeah, so just pointing that out. And then you could see his sides are opening up. Now we have the clearance to bring down this double hinge. So here, let's get a good view. So now you pull this down on that tight tolerance, and now we have the clearance to open his chest, which is really tight. And now you could see there is the generator, which is in that scene from the episode where, you know, he gives this to Black Arachnia, and you can actually just get a good grip on it and pull it up. I'm trying to do it carefully so it doesn't go flying out of my hand. And then we can, you see, you have to open them all up just to be able to get to this piece. And you could see, if I can get a good view, it's nicely sculpted. It's that graviton generator. So now you can give it to Black Arachnia, just like in the episode. So that's a cool little feature that you get. Unfortunately, like I said, it's not easily accessible as simply as just pulling down his chest. So we put it back, and then the double hinge, you need to push this back up so that it goes up all the way, so that you can close his two sides, and then carefully, cautiously tab in his the two tabs. Make sure you get them lined up. Do it very cautiously. Tab it in, and then we can bring his legs down on that double hinge. I mean, the soft ratchet, and then you have to tab this in and the slot here. A lot of people are having some issues here, and I'm also having some issues trying to get that to tab in and stay tabbed. And that's just making it clearer what I said many times already, that the tolerance here is just really tight. So you have to use that double hinge here to just get this lined up, that tab lined up, and then make sure these are closed. Squeeze these together, and it should just tab in, and it is. It's just here it's really tight, but yeah, see, the tolerance is not done very well because I could feel the tension is what's causing it to pop back out. So there's just an issue that you have to deal with, unfortunately, with this piece. But main thing was it does come with that nice little feature that was in that episode. So now let's do some comparisons with the other Silverbolts. Okay, for some comparisons, here you could see this is the original. This one's by Takata Tomy, and that's because I gave away my Hasbro version, and that's because I also have a mint and sealed box of the Hasbro version. So like I said, Silverbolt was my favorite character, so I actually bought 2 of these. And then the recent Kingdom version, which I actually think this is pretty cool in terms of the way they engineered the transformation. They designed this differently, so I think that's cool, because when it comes to design, you want to try to come up with new things, and I think they did a cool job of re-engineering the transformation. And then of course the TransArt version. So here you could see what all these guys look like, and what I was telling you is this one just has that nice look with the metallic paint finish, plus the fact that it's bigger, so obviously this is a masterpiece version. Yeah, so I'm not gonna really say much more than that, just pointing out the difference and just appreciating each one for what it is. I mean, the old original version, but this one by Takata is a little lighter. It does have that cool feature with the wings that they can go forward and back, and you can see the little buttons. These also can fire, so that's what TransArt is trying to capture also, with the articulated wings and the firing wing missiles. And this one, I was telling you, I like the way that they engineered the transformation here to be different. That's what makes this one a little bit unique. But this one, I think it's just better in terms of the quality of the plastic and the articulation. You don't really have to fuss with this so much like you do with the TransArt. But yeah, there's a look at the comparison between the previous Silverbolt. And now let's go ahead and get these guys out of the way. And I'm not going to bring out all the other Beast Wars. I'm just going to bring out probably the most important Beast Wars figure that we need to bring out with this. And that's with the Black Arachnia. So here, yeah, you could see what these two look like. This looks really nice. I'm sure the Transmetal version by TransArt would look nice as well. But I was telling you, there are issues with that one, with the spider legs, breaking off. It shouldn't break off. And, that's because I told you, it's the quality of the plastic. So that's really the major issue with this figure. But yeah, you could see what this looks like. And you can get a lot of cool poses out of these two, which a lot of other reviewers already did. Yeah, so yeah, if you want to mess around, you can. But yeah, this is really cool. So there's some comparisons, and now we can get down to transforming the figure and see what he looks like in alt mode.
Silverbolt, flight mode!
Okay, here's a look at Silverbolt in his beast mode. And you could see aesthetically, this looks really nice with the nice silver finish, the blended silver, orange, black, the silver tail. And if you zoom in, you could see how nice it's sculpted with the feathers there and his head with all the hair on his cheek and nose and his shoulders. Yeah, they did a nice job sculpting the figure, painting the figure. And if we take a closer look at his head, you could see he has some nice eyes. These ears, you can articulate them a little bit, going up or back. I think it's mostly due to the transformation. But what's cool is his mouth does open, but you could see it's nicely sculpted in there with the teeth, and it's nicely painted as well. So that's really cool. And in terms of the articulation, you can get him to look down, you can get him to look up, you can get him to rotate side to side, get a confused dog look. So yeah, that's done really well. And then his arms and legs, his limbs, the articulation. This is where there's some issues because even though they did a nice job giving you all these points of articulation, it's just the way they handled it, you know, such as the tolerance, and some areas are tight, too loose. So first of all, this shoulder piece where it comes in, which is also that careful crotch piece with that tab that you have to be careful, because it also tabs in here, which they didn't point out. So you have to be careful when you're pulling this out, putting it in. You don't want to break that small tab with the kind of plastic that they're using here. So that's one. It might come undone. And it comes undone when you're trying to articulate this. So first of all, you do get some nice soft ratchet going forward and back and out to the side. See, here it is. It's coming undone because there's the tolerance there. You have to push it in really tight and be careful with that caution tab on that crotch piece. And then you get the bicep swivel, and here it's really tight. So first of all, you have to grab close to it and rotate it, but because it's so tight, it's affecting the other areas. And then here, his bicep or elbow, it's double jointed. The top one is loose, the bottom one is tight. So trying to manipulate that becomes a little frustrating. And then his paws here, the front and back, these are on friction, but they're tight, and it's really hard trying to get them both equal to be symmetrical so they can make contact with the ground. And then there is the ankle rocker here. So yeah, you're having to fight through a lot of the tolerance issues with this just to be able to get it into a nice pose where all four paws are touching the ground. So if you saw this before I, got all four of them down, you're going to encounter a lot of difficulties just trying to get them to be in this position. And it's also the same with the back legs, but here it's not as bad because here you could see it just has that nice soft ratchet going forward and back. And then it is a little tight friction going out to the side. Can get friction for the bend here. And then this area here, it's actually his wrist, according to animal anatomy. And then there is one more for the finger right here, and the paw does rotate. These are all on friction, a little tight, so it is a little difficult, but not as bad as here, because it comes undone here, it's tight here, the screw here is loose, screw here is tight, and then the friction here is tight. I'm just pointing it out because, like I said, as long as you know it, are aware of it, and you know how to work around it, it shouldn't be an issue. But it is just a little frustrating and finicky trying to get his forelegs touching the ground. Here, now his wings, you could see these nice wings that can open up a little bit wider. Let's zoom out. And you could see this looks really nice. And then this does have that articulation. So if we come up here, so we can get a better look, you could see his tail. And this, yeah, so you can get him to look like he's flying. So that's a cool little gimmick. So that's pretty much it for the alt mode. You could see the bottom cleans up really well. I really like the silver finish, and I also like all the sculpt here. They did a really nice job with the feathers and the hair and stuff. So that's a look at Silverbolt in his alt mode. And so now let's do some comparisons. Okay, and for some comparisons, here you could see the original. This one's by the Takara Tomy. Here is by Hasbro, the Kingdom version. And then here the TransArt version. So you could see the difference between these, what they look like. First thing that stands out aesthetically, obviously, is the nice silver finish here. And the way they handle the wings. Again, this is like a really old figure from the 90s. So you could see his wings are kind of stuck in this spread out open position here. But this one does have that same features with the wings, but they go forward and back instead of up and down. But it's still cool that they gave it to you. And here with the Kingdom, it's nice that they just gave you the hinges here so you can open it up or fold it down. So good amount of articulation. Yeah, so you could see the difference between them. And then here I already showed you this, the nice wings, nicely sculpted. And then these can also, you know, go up and down like he's flying. Really cool. And then handling the limbs here obviously are much easier on these. Probably because there's a limited amount of articulation with the legs and stuff. But yeah, you could see what these guys look like. They're all nice. They're just different price points too. So that's a look at the comparisons with the Silverbolt. And for one more comparison, I did not transform her into her alt mode because yeah, I wanted to see if I can capture some scenes, you know, from that cartoon where she was riding Silverbolt. So this one is also so finicky, and this is an official product. Yeah, but if you know it, you're aware of it, you can get around it. And you know, other reviewers, they already posted a lot of nice pictures here, but check that out. That's actually kind of cool. You can get Black Arachnia and Silverbolt, so you can kind of pretend like they're flying. Maybe you could do something here like lift up his tail so he's kind of flying. So yeah, just wanted to show you that, just have a little fun here. But yeah, that's a look at Silverbolt in his alt mode. So now let's just go ahead and transform him back to robot mode and have our final thoughts.
Silverbolt, maximize!
Okay, my final thoughts on this. There's positive and negatives to it. So the positive, a lot has to do with the aesthetics. You could see it's a nicely sculpted figure, the nice silver to capture that CG look, you know, all the little details, the metallic red paint here, all the nicely sculpted details, the feathers and the hair. They did a really nice job with the sculpt and the finish. And there is a good amount of articulation. It's nice that they gave you some soft ratchet, but they did not do a very good job controlling the tolerance, you know, because some things easily come untabbed. A lot of the joints, you know, like here are really tight, the feet are really tight, which becomes an issue because when you're applying force to articulate them, you're causing tension on other areas. So like here, the double jointed knee, because it's so loose, you're trying to fight this, then that comes out of place, and it just becomes really frustrating trying to manipulate it. So you just have to be aware of all of that and just carefully work around it. You know, and the only concern with the breakage that they gave you the caution, you know, like down here, that small tab, the way these two come together, you have to apply force to put them together to take them off. And if you're not careful, you might break it because of the type of plastic that they use. But like I said, as long as you know it, are aware of it, you know how to manipulate it, you're being very careful, you could work around it. And there are some other nice features like the wings, you know how they can go up and down. That's kind of cool. These missiles that fire, all the little, I mean, in terms of aesthetics, I mean, this just looks really great. So that's one reason why I got it, besides the fact that he's my favorite Beast Wars character. The engineering is actually not that bad. Even, you know, trying to rotate the bottom of the wolf panels to come out and under, if you know, it's not really that bad, the engineer. It's just the tolerance is so tight. You see how you're having to apply force to push it in, just to punch it through the bottom opening. Even up here, it's just, that's the issue is just the tolerance. I think that's why they took a long time to release it, because yeah, maybe they're trying to fix it. But anyways, there's the positive and the negatives. But overall, this is a nice figure. I laugh because all you have to do is look at this. This just looks so amazing. The nice silver finish. Plus, he's my favorite Beast Wars character. It's just the little issues with the way they executed all these joints and stuff. The tolerance, they're really tight. But anyways, overall, this is a nice figure. And I don't give recommendations because if you want it, you'll get it. If you don't, you won't. So, you know, I'll just leave it at that. But I will give this a rating. I'm going to give this a rating of 7.8 out of 10. Yeah, that's just because, you know, they probably should have done better, you know, fixing the tolerance so it's not so frustrating manipulating the figure. But anyways, that's my review for the TransArt Wing Wolf Combatant, or their version of a masterpiece scaled Beast Wars Silverbolt.
You claim to be the toughest of us all, Snake, but you have done little to prove it.